Hi everyone, it's Nick Jerusalem here with the Jerusalem's Happy Home team, and I wanted to take a moment and just give you kind of a quick forecast for what we can expect for the rest of the year in 2013 in the local King County and Greater Seattle area real estate market. So we have our first quarter in so far, and what we're seeing is this market's really displaying the strong dynamics of supply and demand. And a lot of that's contributed to the very constricted supply in that we have the fewest amount of homes on the market since 1999. And new construction right now is the lowest it's been in over 15 years. Right now we have fewer than 600 new construction properties on the market, which is half of what the levels were in 2011. And back in 2008, for instance, there was over 2,200 new construction homes for sale. We don't really anticipate there being a lot of new construction supply because much of the land was purchased at the peak of the market, developed, and then a lot of those ended up going bankrupt and going back to the banks. And we had a lot of big national builders like D.R. Horton, Pulte Homes, Toll Brothers that came in and bought up all these pre-finished plats for pennies at the dollar. And in the meantime, there really hasn't been anyone buying raw land for future development. And anyone that's buying raw land now, it's going to take 3, 4, 5 years sometimes to take a piece of raw dirt all the way to a finished subdivision. So we're going to have some constricted supply for quite some time. Another part of our limited supply is the fact that we have fewer distressed homes on the market. They're at the lowest level since 2009, and they're down 65% from just 2 years ago. For instance, in 2010, there was over 1,000 bank-owned properties on the market, and right now we have fewer than 200. We're also seeing fewer short sale properties as well, and where a lot of this is being contributed to the banks are now starting to sell off more of their properties in big bundles to private equity firms as opposed to trying to sell them off one at a time. And they're also trying to be a little bit more creative and coming up with some different types of workout solutions for sellers to keep them in their homes. They're finding out that it's much more expensive to go through the short sale or foreclosure process, have it not succeed, not sell at the auction, then take the home back and have to start selling it themselves. Whereas if it's a lot more effective for them to keep homeowners in the home whenever possible or to sell them off in these big bundles. On the demand side, that what's really driving demand is the interest rates. They're still in the mid 3% range for a 30-year fixed mortgage right now, which is pretty much the lowest it's been since America's been a country. And so that's created record high affordability. In fact, in the end of 2012, the National Association of Realtors found that the median income household makes nearly twice the income needed to qualify for a mortgage on a median price home. And so record high affordability is really paired with the low rates and prices being relatively low compared to where they were at the peak. However, we are starting to see prices shift significantly because of this limited supply and demand. For instance, February of 2013 in King County, the median price was $332. Whereas in February of 2012, it was $275. So that's an increase of over 20% year over year. And so what that means for buyers is that as we're seeing this uptick in prices again, we're 6 years into this downturn in the market now. So we're starting to see prices return and recovering, and we might be seeing interest rates start to improve as well, because as the economy starts picking up steam, what we can generally start to see is interest rates increasing. Because right now, interest rates are artificially low. You may have heard of like the quantitative easing, where the Federal Reserve has been buying mortgage-backed securities and selling off these treasuries. And what that does is allows them to inject money into the system, and that gives the banks the liquidity that they need to then turn around and lend to consumers. Well, when they first started doing this, interest rates went from 6% down to the mid-4s, and now we're down in the mid-3s. And that happened very quickly. It was almost within a matter of a week that we had a big drop in interest rates. So as they start seeing the economy starting to stand on its own feet again, we have the unemployment levels are down to 7.7% now. So we might start to see them pulling money out, and that would in turn start to see interest rates increasing. So the affordability factor is something to watch very closely. Right now it's still very good. That might start to shift. For sellers, what we do know is that with this limited supply, you have no competition, and so a lot of times your home might be worth more than you think. And so if you'd like to give us a call or contact us via our website, be happy to put together a free market analysis for you. And for a buyer, we'd be happy to sit down with you and show you just what exactly you can afford and what you can buy in today's market. As far as the general trends that we see coming for the rest of the year, probably to stay pretty consistent with what we're seeing right now, because there's really no drastic sudden changes that can come into the market to have interest rates all of a sudden go up to 6%, or all of a sudden we double in inventory. It's going to be pretty gradual from here. Well, we do know it's a pretty frenzied market and a great time to take advantage of these low rates, low affordability, and ride that wave of appreciation if you're a buyer. If you're a seller, great time to get more money than you could have at any point in the last 6 years. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to stop by again for our next update.